The woods, the freshest place on earth, where the entire circle of life is visible in vibrant colors. The woods smell damp and crisp, and the air tastes of sugar. Sounds of far-off birds and small animals rustling around, yet are nowhere in sight. The woods are mysterious. They feel old, as if they have been there before time itself. This place is rough, rugged, untapped by the reaches of man, the unconquered. Someone might ask, why would anyone ever want to leave the comforts of their home to be in such a place? What is to gain? This is the begging question that I want to try to answer. To answer this question, we need to analyze how the woods is used by communities and how it is viewed by our society and culture. As an Eagle Scout, I've learned many invaluable life lessons. These lessons are all on a broad range, yet most of them have one thing in common: the space they were ascertained in. This place is the woods, often the first place you think of when you think Boy Scout. There are many communities that use the woods. However, none use it to the extent of the Boy Scouts. The Boy Scouts' focus and goal is to make boys into men. They do this by teaching strong values and allowing self-taught life experiences. These life experiences often take place in the woods. Other communities use the woods for good as well. One author says, in an effort to find new ways to make the outdoors fun for today's techno-savvy kids, the American Recreation Coalition brought together 150 public and private recreation leaders for Partners Outdoors. Its goal is to set up adequate program resources to keep youth engaged long enough to change lives and keep kids out of trouble. The woods provide a natural and neutral ground unaffected by man. This environment teaches young scouts to persevere and overcome obstacles, which inevitably opens the door to unforgettable life lessons. The motto of the Boy Scouts is to be prepared. This is a general lesson that is always taught to Boy Scouts because as naive boys, they are never prepared for the first camping trip. Summer camp was a place you camped, hiked in the woods, learned about plants and animals, or told firelight stories about ghosts or mountain lions, says one author. The Boy Scouts are generally thought of as good, responsible, upstanding citizens. Usually a cliché of honesty and acting in good faith goes along with the title of Boy Scout. The Boy Scouts are linked with most youth learning communities and often work together with them to do community service and help the broader society. In the public eye and in pop culture, the woods are seen as an impervious challenge. In movies, the woods are often seen as a conflict or a daunting task, a major turning point for characters, as they often don't leave the same person they were as when they entered. Films often have a protagonist venture through a dark forest or woods out of pure necessity or to prove oneself. The woods also have an ancient and alive feeling to them, so they often are depicted as enchanted, cursed, or dark. In my favorite movie series, The Hobbit, the protagonist must cross through a dark forest, and his mentor, Gandalf, needs him to lead the expedition alone. They enter the forest and are poisoned by their own delusions and become lost. The tone of the scene is eerie and uncomfortable. In the scene, the writers of the film use sound and motion effects to make the viewer feel nauseous and as if the air has thickened. When all others in his group have given up, waiting to die, the protagonist outsmarts the woods by climbing a tree to see which direction to go in. When the protagonist leaves the forest, he is a changed man. He is far braver and more confident in himself than he was when he entered. This reinforces the reason why the Boy Scouts use the woods as the perfect place to learn perseverance in the face of adversity, and how to overcome unique and difficult challenges, lessons that can be utilized in everyday life. The woods provide a challenge to man, a place they have not yet conquered. In one of my final years as a scout, the tall trees and thick green of the woods still had lessons to give. We were working on our Wilderness Survival Merit Badge, which is one of the most difficult to obtain. For this badge, we would not be sitting around a campfire practicing our knot tying skills. We would have to use the lessons we had learned through many lectures by the camp counselors to utilize our surroundings and survive a long and cold night alone in the woods. My friends and I, being the honest Boy Scouts we were, decided we already possessed the knowledge to survive in the woods alone, so we figured we would cheat to make it easier. The requirements of this badge were very specific. We were tasked to build a shelter with sticks and ferns, build a fire, and boil water over that fire to prepare it for drinking. We deduced that the easiest way to get this merit badge would be to sneak matches to start the fire. This would hand half the merit badge to us on a silver platter. We knew that we would be searched before we set out on this great journey, so we cut open our shoelaces and hid the matches in there. We ended up getting the merit badge with ease, but something was missing. All the other boys had conquered the woods and had come back with amazing tales of how they bested nature. My friends and I, however, did not. Our journey into the woods was not yet over. We had yet to learn our lesson. With flooding feelings of remorse and guilt, we decided to try it again, this time honestly. We entered the woods with pride. We did the best we could, and though it wasn't a record-breaking time, we all got the merit badge the right way. Of life, something that man longs for but can never obtain. In this sense, the woods create complete balance. The soil and the sun feed the plants, which feed the animals, which feed more animals, who die and are finally decomposed into that same soil, beginning the cycle anew. As characters in many stories venture through the woods, they often gain new insight and newfound confidence and bravery. The woods are dangerous and sometimes deadly places because some who enter may never return. This environment allows for hardship, and where there's hardship, there is growth. The woods create a great place for learning, for boys, which its lessons can transform into men. These lessons could not be taught elsewhere, as the unique hardships of the forest force learning and self-growth. The woods are the only space that can do what the community of the Boy Scouts uses it for, which is self-growth, perseverance, and as a teacher.